Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Game On for Global Peace, uniting millions on a journey to a harmonious world by 2030 with Miranda Clendening and David Gershon. Welcome, Miranda and David.
Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Carissa.
Yes, it just feels like a powerful time to talk about peace with the full supermoon last night and partial eclipse and International Day of Peace coming up, and so many incredible events happening this week. I'm Charissa Sims, live event host for Humanities Team, a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization whose mission is to make conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040, which I feel like is similar to your all mission with the Peace Games. So that's really beautiful. And I'm coming to you live from Lafayette, Colorado, close to Boulder. And I wanted to welcome Miranda and David's audience. Thanks for being here. Also, the Sign Network with John Raymer, those streaming live through Humanities Team Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and also the Stream Plus members that are here in the green room with us. Hi, welcome. Thanks for being members and being on camera, some of you. So, because it is a live program, we will have time for questions and comments. Try to get your question in within the first half of the program, 30 minutes, and post it in the chat wherever you're watching, and you may get your question answered by Miranda and David. So I'd like to share a little bit about our esteemed guest today, and I'm going to start with Miranda. Miranda Clendening has brought tens of millions of people together around the world in synchronized meditation and unitive events through her leadership of Unify.org. Her skills include nonprofit management, technology integration, whole system community development, and large event facilitation. She will serve as Director of Operations for the Peace on Earth game that includes management of the game platform, game development, and the large-scale annual events. And I just want to say on a side note, she also has an incredible heart and is a mom and really is passionate about peace. So it's wonderful that you have all of that technical expertise, but I feel like you're like this yin yang where you have the technical and you have the heart.
Thank you, Carissa.
You're welcome. So now I'd like to introduce David Gershon, founder and CEO of Empowerment Institute. He's recognized as a leading expert on social change. He has dedicated his life to empowering humanity to create the world of our dreams, developing strategies like the Peace on Earth by 2030 initiative, which includes innovative tools such as the Peace Game and Peace on Earth zones. David's global impact began with organizing the 1986 First Earth Run, a peace event involving 25 million people and 45 heads of state. That is so incredible. I'm a runner, and I just love that you started that. He is the author of 12 books, including Social Change 2.0 and Empowerment, the art of creating your life as you want it, and has advised Clinton in the White House, the UN, and lectured at top universities. And he's also lecturing today at an incredible event. Welcome, David and Miranda. David, where are you connecting from today?
I'm in Monterrey, Mexico at the Nobel Peace Laureates Summit.
Oh, wonderful. And then are you going to be speaking there? And what are your talks that you're having
I'll
today?
be speaking there, yes. Well, here actually, yes. Well, I'll be talking about the Peace Game, the Peace on Earth by 2030 movement, the same things we'll be talking about. And I'll be interviewed by several of the Nobel Peace Laureates who are very interested in seeing how this can contribute to their larger movement.
Well, that's so incredible that you're a part of it and connecting with all of these incredible people from around the world. How many people are there? Do you know?
There are 5,000 people that have gathered. from all
Mhm.
over the world.
Wonderful. And are you going to be there on the International Day of Peace as well?
Yes, I
Okay.
will. Yeah, the next,
Okay.
until then, yes.
Okay. Amazing. And Miranda, where are you connecting from today?
Boulder, Colorado.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to start off with you, Miranda. How do you feel peace relates to oneness?
Um, Oneness is actually one of the actions of the game. It's the second action, and we experience oneness through the act of befriending and the realization that we are all one humanity. We share a unity together. We are one family of humanity, and part of bringing peace on earth, if everyone were to befriend everyone else, even people that you think might be an other or that you don't get along with or wouldn't understand or you think you couldn't be friends, we encourage that anyway. And even some of our kids and youth are the highest scoring players in that action, as they realize that this is a tool to make many friends and to become one with the rest of humanity, and that it becomes a superpower to learn how to befriend other people. And um, our dream someday, or the vision that we've had, is that if everyone is friends, why would anyone go to war? Someday people just won't want to pick up a weapon or say, I wouldn't want to go and fight my friends, and everyone's my friend.
That's incredible. And just to go along with that, in what all these children are saying and scoring high in this portion of oneness, that aspect of the game. So, do you think that this could also reduce bullying, like help with peace on a micro level?
Yeah, and it's not just kids that play, just kids have learned how to take this to the next level and befriend people online and in their schools and everything. But yeah, some of our kids have actually led anti-bullying initiatives after learning so much about befriending and oneness, and that we can be different. We teach about unity, not uniformity. We don't all have to be the same in order to be friends. With our adult groups, some of the things that have done, we've worked with some of the Black Lives Matter groups. We've worked with red and blue during election time last time and this time. Go and talk to someone that is the opposite of you in political beliefs and
I
see
love that. I
be
love that. It's
friends and
amazing.
still value each other even though you have different beliefs. So it has been very, very beautiful and amazing. I mean, the some of the in the Tri-Cities area, we did a whole broadcast with a program there where um, there were some people that were raised extremely racist, and that's how they were raised, but they were older and later in their life, and they said they didn't want to be this way anymore, but they couldn't figure out how to make friends or integrate in with the Black community in inner city. So some they just combined forces and efforts and went and did that and just started saying, tell me about your life. Tell me how you were raised. Tell me, just let's be friends. And now they really are friends. They were telling some of the cutest stories about having all these old white guys kind of that grew up in racist households going to Black inner city communities and all having potlucks together and just experiencing being friends and sitting out on the porch together and truly becoming friends and changing their life, that we are one humanity.
I love that story. That's pretty powerful. And David, what's your opinion? How does peace relate to oneness?
Well, I wanted to build on something Miranda said. So when you play the peace game, you go through these 7 peace actions. As Miranda said, one of them is oneness, another one is on unity, so very complementary type actions. And Miranda's played the game 8 times. She's the game manager. And so imagine playing the game 8 times and taking the oneness action. So I asked Miranda recently, I said, Miranda, how do you keep stretching on taking the oneness action? She said, well, now I actually befriend someone every day. So that is 365 people befriended in a year, times many years, not to mention you probably befriend many more, like on your Peace Day event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Befriend
I'll
many.
just like to say that's a reason why she's so busy. Sorry, David.
This is one reason among many, yes. So just want to shout out to you, Miranda, about you being a model of befriending the other. Well, I'll tell you a story. I'm going to be talking about this today. So there is a woman who has played the peace game in Afghanistan. Her name is Katama, and she decided that she was going to have an experience of oneness by befriending the imam of her local mosque and asking him if he would be willing to allow her to speak in the mosque to men, which has never happened before, actually, ever in the history of that religion. And she wanted to break that taboo. And he said, you know, if you choose to do that, this is actually quite dangerous. You could put your life at risk and your family's life at risk and my life at risk because this is so against our culture and our religion. So this is how oneness is actually now being played. She persevered, and eventually she got to speak. And when she spoke, the men did not know what to do with this. But her love, her kindness, all the qualities of the peace game, love and faith and oneness and unity prevailed. And the men started to listen to her. And they started to nod and receive her. And they were so inspired and impressed. They offered her tea and candy and said, please come back and we want to have you speak again. And then the women in the streets of this community started to come up to her and say how they have empowered, how she's helped empower them. And this is in a place where the Taliban don't even allow you to go to school. So this is what oneness looks like. This is what the befriending the other action looks like. And it's profound. And there are many, many stories like that. 52,000 peace actions have been taken. I think out of that, maybe 25% are the oneness action. So oneness is very much in the DNA of the peace game.
That's incredible. And did you start this initiative? You're the founder of Peace Games, and what inspired you to
We're
start
not hearing
this?
you right now, Clarissa.
Hmm.
I can hear.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, it could be your internet
Well,
connection. Other people can hear me. I'm
it could be
sorry.
my internet connection. Yeah.
Okay.
Try
Sorry.
again.
Okay. So, what inspired you to start the initiative of the Peace Games? And how does it tie into your broader vision of global peace?
Okay, that's a big question. So, are you hearing me okay?
Hmm.
Yeah, because you were breaking up again. So I'm in Mexico. I don't know if we have great internet connection here. So sorry about that. So what inspired me? So in 1986, we passed a torch of peace around the world called the First Earth Run. And we engaged 25 million people, 45 heads of state in 62 countries, and 1 billion people witnessed it as the torch went around the world. And wherever we brought the torch, wars stopped, and the world was united as one. And out of that, I learned that that shouldn't have happened by any imaginable, reasonable expectation of how the world would work, but it did. And so I culled out the 7 strategies that enable that to happen. And over the last 10 years or so, I built it into a peace game. And the peace game has these 7 actions that really are the distillation of those strategies. And the peace game is really a means to an end. And the larger end is this Peace on Earth by 2030 movement. So we're putting out a bold idea into the world. We're inviting the world to believe in a dream We're inviting the world to step up and say a lot more is possible than we have imagined. We are big proponents of John Lennon's Imagine song. He says, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will all be one." And so that's the mission of what we're doing, is making the world one, having peace on earth. And we're making progress. Peace game is extremely powerful. As Miranda said, if enough people befriend the other, we start to get peace on earth. But that's just one of the 7 actions, and each of them builds on the other. Some are field building actions, some are peace building actions, some are capacity building, some are movement building. So collectively, they make up this powerful idea. And then they evolve into peace on earth zones, where you scale the peace game and start to bring the community together. So this oneness idea is very, very aligned with what we are all about. In fact, it's an organizing principle for us as well.
That's wonderful. I do have a question from the audience, and I'm wondering if Miranda or David, you could put your website where Guranam asks, where does one find this peace game? So maybe Miranda, if you're able to put that into the chat and send to everyone where people can learn how to play the peace game and join your incredible initiative. Thank you so much, Miranda. Appreciate that. So, Miranda, in regards to the peace games, how does it tie into your broader vision for global peace?
Yeah, I kind of grew up in a peace activist family and watched the Earth run that David did when I was 6 years old.
Oh my gosh, that was your destiny, huh? To be born in that family and watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, so as a second grader watching it on Good Morning America, I thought we would have peace on Earth already. So now that we don't yet, still, it's been my passion my whole life. I've worked in many different areas trying to figure out how do I work for peace and help the planet to do this. But also with a strong belief and faith that we are going there in my lifetime, that our Earth will see peace on Earth. I've had many visions of that even since I was a little kid. So I've worked with Unified Global Synchronized Meditations, took UN Peace Ambassador training. I worked with the Jane Goodall Institute. But when I met David, I just had such a craving for what can we do more than just peace events, peace walks, protests for peace. It just seems like we're not doing enough. And even with Jane Goodall's Institute and the Roots and Shoots volunteer groups, there still was like this craving that I had to have a strategy to actually create peace on Earth. So when David and I met each other, we literally spent 3 days together, almost day and night, with him downloading the history of his life and his strategy for getting to peace on Earth by 2030, with a very extremely well laid out strategy for how we do bottom up and top down approaches, and what he calls second order change, or whole systems transformational change, and get millions of people on board, including kids, families, elders, totally intergenerational, intercultural, and create a game out of it. He said he took the actions of the Earth Run, what engaged 25 million people to carry that torch of peace and create peace wherever it went. But now, instead of carrying that torch around the world, we're lighting it up in every city, lighting up torches of peace in every city around the world, and interconnecting hearts and cities until we have peace on Earth. So I was so inspired. David offered me a job to come and work with him to build this and do this. And that was 5 years ago. And we work together every day. And I love the boots on the ground part of it. My family has played the game every time that I've played with me. It helped shape and change their lives. I played it in the town of Crestone. We had 128 people join us there to help cure hunger as well. And now in Boulder, we're starting and have a big event this weekend that will have a couple of hundred people in Boulder gathering for peace and starting to play the peace game together as we create a Peace on Earth zone in Boulder. So it means everything to me. I mean, and every day I wake up with true hope and faith and seeing humanity doing this together.
That's incredible. So how did you two meet initially? Were you at a conference?
David was already part of the evolutionary leaders gathering and summits and groups, and I was nominated into it. So I came to that. I had already heard his name and been working with him a little bit on a climate initiative called Cool Block that I was also doing with my family, where you learn about how to reduce your carbon footprint. And but I did not know that all of his history about working with the Peace Game or with the Earth Run and the Peace Game until we met in person.
Oh, okay, got it. So David, did you reach out to her or how did you end up working
The
together?
universe brought us together in a very serendipitous way. I
I
was
love
doing
it.
you for a film we were creating in so this was in Loveland. This is where the event took place. And so Miranda had her car and we needed a ride. And Miranda, being the good Samaritan soul that she is, offered us a ride to this location. And we started to really feel connected. I said, let me interview you for this film. And before we knew it, Miranda changed all her plans. She had her daughter in tow. So her daughter had to stay for 3 days while we went on this great adventure. And she was a great sport as well. And it wasn't just my downloading of this dream, it was my uploading of Miranda's soul and her spirit, and recognizing that this was a person whose mission was very aligned and who came to do this work. And I realized that for it to get to the next level, we needed to upload Miranda into this vision, and she has been a stalwart member of it ever since.
Hmm, that's incredible. So we have another question from our audience. Is there any connection with the Peace Poles movement? So many places implant these poles that say, may there be peace on earth in many languages. Those are beautiful. David, did you want to respond?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of connection, and we have a vision. As Miranda said, there's a strategic plan. It's very comprehensive, like a 37-page peace plan for how we will get to peace on earth by 2030. And one of the strategies is to interconnect all the peace poles into a global peace grid. And we invite everyone who plays the peace game to also plant a peace pole. And we're also evolving the peace pole to say peace on earth zones and the 7 actions of the peace game. So instead of may peace prevail on earth, we're actually planting peace and making it prevail on earth wherever, not making it, but empowering it to prevail on earth wherever the peace pole is planted. And then people will be invited to meditate each day and send an intention out into the grid. So building an energetic field, if you will, around this intention of peace on earth by 2030 and empowering each of the 7 actions. So many, many different parts to it. Beyond that, we want to anchor them as peace on earth's own sanctuaries where people can come and pray and do meditation around that collectively in different locations. So, yes, the answer is yes, plus.
It's very connected. So how did the Peace Poles originate? Is that a different organization? Because those seem like very strategically placed.
Well, I could take a shot at that, Randy. You might want to add to it. So in 1955, there's a foundation called the Goy Foundation that set up this idea and put it into place. There are 250,000 peace poles that have been planted since then around the world. Those are the ones we want to connect. And it grew out of their experience of World War II in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And so they said, let us have a way to symbolize someone's commitment. It's been in play ever since. It's a powerful way for someone to affirm that I have a peace pole in my yard, and I have it in 4 languages. One of them is Hopi, one of them is Chinese, another is Arabic and English. So languages where I feel that there's some important energy that I want to put out into the world. So people get to make their statement of how they want to utilize a peace pole.
Mm. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, I noticed there is a peace pole in Longmont at the Tower of Compassion right next to it. And it just feels like it could be a peace center where people could meditate and everything. And so, Miranda, did you have any comments you wanted to say about the peace poles?
Well, in addition to everything that David said, as well, and trying to get people to register those 250,000 polls that are out there, and that's an initiative of the Peace Poll Project as well. Like in Boulder, we're going around mapping everywhere that we can find them, at the Unity Church, along the river, at the site of Chief Niwot, and just everywhere we can find them. And next year, when we have our Peace Day, in Boulder and in Louisville and any other peace zones that want to, we'll be doing almost like a walk or run between the different centers that have peace polls, and having a teaching of each of the 7 actions, and a little bit of being able to play some of the actions in the game at these different sites where the peace poles are. So they literally are a representation of kind of a grid of peace energy that will walk around and then culminate in the event after we do all of that on Peace Day next year in peace zones.
Oh, that's incredible. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And anyone else here in Boulder?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that would be
And we
amazing.
have to integrate peace poles with ecstatic dancing.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing, since we're going to now.
What's between the polls? That's it.
Ecstatic peace pole people. That's one way to think about it. Yeah.
Oh, just for our audience, that we were talking about that before we went live. So David brought it full circle. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have our Boulder event, and this year, one of the initiatives of Unify and Earth Dance that we're combining with for Peace Day, which on Peace Day every year, September 21st, and Peace Week, we have been part of for a long time the Global Peace broadcasts, and more than 1,500 cities around the world that we track do peace events where there's either meditation or dance events, or a festival or a walk or something like that. So this year there is a big push for people to do meditation for peace, and then we're combining dancers in Boulder, dancers from many Native American tribes coming together with ecstatic dancers and hip hop dancers and dancers from Africa, and so we can dance for peace too. So dancing peace into existence this year kind of is one of the themes.
Oh, I love that. It's like embodying that and like setting it free. Wonderful. I'm so excited for that event. Well, I would love to show our first video that David and Miranda are part of on the Peace Games. Can we play that first clip?
What if peace on Earth was actually possible?
40 million people is 1/2 of 1% of humanity. 1/2 of 1% is a tipping point when you start to tip consciousness. We're hoping to have 40 million people playing the game.
The game, the Peace on Earth game. Wow, it is a life changer. I had the honor of being the team leader. We were in the alpha pilot phase, so it was just the very first time the game was being tested and played. I truly believe we're in one of the greatest time periods on our whole planet.
Time has come.
I'm so alive with this game, and I'm seeing relationships really shift. It really comes from the different actions.
It's about behavior change. It's demanding. The game is not a walk in the park.
As soon as I was invited to be a player and then a team leader, and to find my own team leaders, I was just really loving all of the actions.
Peace on Earth by 2030 Game Team.
I believe that every human being deserves to live in peace.
Free of war, free of violence, free of hate.
I was deeply shifted by both being a team leader and by playing the game.
Help us move this Peace on Earth initiative forward.
What if it was not only possible, but could be achieved by 2030? We invite you to be one of the planet's dream keepers and accept this sacred fire as a torchbearer for our future as a species. We are building a movement of dream keepers, those who believe peace on Earth is possible and are committed to making it a reality.
Adds clarity and it adds credibility to our work that we're already doing.
Each week, my hope became deeper, my belief that something as abstract as peace could be possible, because all of us were doing these incredible actions together.
It can completely lift you up as a guide for this peace revelation, helping to evolve our planet.
Helping bring a really amazing renaissance of new thinking and change and hope for the planet. And we're right in the middle of being awake to that, and it's really happening.
And we are part of a game.
Helping to create positive change on the planet.
We're bringing change, and that we're not going to stop until we do it, and it's super exciting.
This is actually how Peace on Earth works. One community at a time, one pose zone at a time. And the eternal flame idea, which came out of the experience of the Earth, and when we were passing the fire around the world, there were these eternal flames created, lots of them.
And during the first Earth run, they carried the torch of peace around the planet, and there's so many stories and testimonials of how when people saw the flame, they were just in awe or brought into this mythical space of imagining peace on the planet already. And there's still a flame going at the site of Buddha's birthplace and multiple other eternal flames going around the planet from when the Earth run happened. Everywhere that there's a Peace on Earth zone that happens, we're encouraging every zone to light an eternal flame somewhere in their region, their city, their town, or wherever they're claiming as their Peace on Earth zone.
So that's just the first half of the incredible video. When did you produce that, David?
We produced that maybe about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. So it was the beginning of our journey. We've had a number of other videos since then, but yes, that still tells the story so beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll get to see the second half of the video a little bit later. So, David, how does the peace game work?
Well, the peace game is these 7 actions that I talked about earlier. So let me unpack the 7 actions. The idea of the 7 actions is to take someone on a transformative journey. The game is usually played online. We have our next game starting actually next Wednesday. It's 9 meetings. You do this as part of a 3-person team, a peace team. That's your support system for playing the game. And then there's a 2-hour meeting. Each Wednesday, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time is the time that we have these meetings. And what happens during those meetings is that you learn about what everyone else is doing to take the actions. You debrief the action you've just taken, and then you plan the next action you're going to take, and then you get the support of your team. 7 actions are empowerment, which is building your own agency as an effective change agent. That's our capacity building action. Then actions 2, 3, and 4 are peace building actions, which are oneness, which you talked about, described. Unity, which is learning how to celebrate that which we share in common with others. What we usually do is divide ourselves by our identities, however we identify ourselves in the world, and that separates us. So this helps you come together and find what you share in common. Call that unity. And then the third of the peace building actions is on cooperation, which is teaching you how to cooperate for the common good. What is the common good you could achieve if you work with others? Most groups don't cooperate that well together, but we're showing that that is essential and powerful. And if you do cooperate, you can produce better outcomes than if you don't. So that's a teaching for people and for our world. And then the actions 5 and 6 are our field building actions. Action 5 is called abundance, and that's providing your time or offering your money to groups that are furthering oneness, cooperation, and unity, the peace building. And then action 6 is called love. And that action is around praying for and visualizing peace in the world, peace on earth by 2030, peace in your community, however you wish to do the prayer. So the energetic shifting of consciousness is the prayer action. Then action 7 is called faith. And that is having faith that humanity can be successful in achieving peace on earth by 2030. Faith that you could indeed get other people to play the game, because we invite people to reach out to get more people to play. We can't get there unless a lot of people are doing it, 40 million people. That's the tipping point we're going after. And ultimately, faith that we can be successful as a species. So that's the faith building action. And by the time you've played the peace game, you come away as a person of faith because, as Miranda said, you start to see the power of these actions. And you say, you know what, this crazy idea, peace on earth by 2030, is maybe not so crazy. Maybe it's actually doable if enough people actually do these actions. So it's not just wishful thinking. It's not just prayer by itself or intention. It's actually behavioral change. It's actually getting many, many people to do things differently. And if you get enough people to do things differently, the world changes.
Yeah, beautifully said. I'm so glad that you broke it down into all the components. Miranda, what are some of the objectives that you have for the participants, and also what changes have people experienced from playing the game?
Yeah. I mean, we truly cultivate inner peace. And then what does it mean to have peace with each other, truly? Not just peace, but becoming friends and getting past differences and learning nonviolent communication, learning to share a vision together that we can create peace on earth together, that we can create cooperation together is a big one. So we set out on different missions in the game, especially under cooperation, the unity events, to learn what it means to have real cooperation, to work together as a team, as teams together in an area, and truly cooperate for creating peace. So sometimes the kids set a mission, sometimes adults, and learn how to put egos aside, learn what cooperation really is, let everybody lead together in a unified vision, which may not sound that profound, but humanity doesn't always take a commitment to learn how to cooperate no matter what, because it does create peace on earth. So when you keep coming back to saying we are actually creating peace, our greater goal is to actually learn how to cooperate, and you keep bringing people back to that over and over, they do learn to put egos away, cultivate inner peace within themselves, cultivate peaceful and loving relationships with each other, and then work towards goals that they're cooperating on together that bring true peace. To us, peace, even with the Peace Day broadcast, Peace Day and Peace Week, and peace itself, when you ask any human being around the planet, what is your greatest wish if you could have one wish? They say for world peace. I don't know exactly why that comes out of their mouth, but it is something that is all encompassing of, if we had all of our needs met, if we were safe in our beds and on the streets every night, if our kids had everything that they need, it would look like world peace. So all of women's empowerment and working for clean water and growing food together, and everybody has housing and shelter, and we truly learn to get along, and everybody's nice and kind and caring to each other. All of that means world peace. So coming to all of those realizations and then having people transform their consciousness, youth especially, we ask all of them in the beginning, do you believe peace is possible? And they all say, no, you're crazy. This world is crazy. I don't have any idea how that could possibly happen, not only in my lifetime, but how we work on it or anything. No, I don't believe. Sorry. And I love that answer because they're just being super honest and saying, reflecting the world around them. So the game, and as they play it and as they realize their own perspective and working for it and grasping faith and holding that and working for it, does profoundly start to create peace around them and in the community. And then they start to see everything that's going on in the world in a different way. And by the end of the game, I haven't had any that have said they don't believe anymore. And not only do they believe by the end of it, but they know that they're able to be a part of it. Many of our students that have played have gone on to work towards college degrees in something that is international studies or peace studies, or wanting to be ambassadors for peace in a bigger way as well, even from Afghanistan. So yeah, just seeing that change, seeing it in my kids, feeling it in myself. I've always been very faithful, but this is like another level of, I know it's happening.
Oh, that's beautiful. Did you have any comments on what Miranda said, David?
Miranda is one of the faith keepers, and that also helps. Wherever she is, people feel hopeful. I would say the same for me. We both feel ourselves as sort of anchoring a belief for humanity. When humanity starts to waver, which actually we are quite wavering right now in the sense of the possible or our future for many different reasons. But if you have a vision strong enough, if you have a vision transcendent enough that can be universal, as Miranda was saying, why is it that when you ask people, what do they want for the world, they say, well, peace. What is it about that? And what we've learned is that it's the sacred mission of humanity, that in our heart, in our soul, we know this is what humanity is here to achieve. And what makes the game so powerful and what makes the Peace on Earth by 2030 movement so powerful is that we've tapped into that longing. There's zero resistance. Our only challenge is getting people to believe it's possible. And that's actually not that hard once they play the game. So, it's slow and steady wins the race. And so we are holding this powerful intention. And I've been holding that intention now for a good chunk of my life because I got the download of this. Actually, in 1976, I actually saw Peace on Earth. I saw the first Earth run after this event where we passed the torch around America, over 9,000 miles over through all 50 states to celebrate the bicentennial. And at the end of that event, when we were extinguishing the torch where George Washington was inaugurated, Federal Hall in New York City, I had this epiphany. And I saw and was told to pass a torch of peace around the world. That was a spiritual download, and that would catalyze a great turning towards peace on earth and 1,000 years of peace. And so I have seen that. I've sort of seen the mountaintop, if you will. So I know it is coming our way, and we just have to be faithful, to hold that intention and not get caught in the noise, all the noise that comes through our media and through all the ways that we separate ourselves, because that's just static. If we hold this intention, we can achieve it.
That's so beautiful. And I love that you had this spiritual download and you followed through with it. I mean, sometimes people have spiritual downloads and they talk about it, and you made it your life's mission. So it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, I'd like to play the second half of the Peace Games video. Do we have that second clip?
What we want to do is start to create eternal flames in all these communities. peace sanctuaries, and pilgrimage sites.
Most of us in Afghanistan, we have lost our childhood, with shootings, with explosions. We are working to build peace. I am thinking of a world, I'm closing my eyes, imagining and visualizing a world which everyone is happy, no more killings, where peace is everywhere. I believe that every human being, we are all equal, and I believe that every human being deserves a better life than this.
The peace game is getting done through the racial justice training, making it multiracial, and it goes across the country, goes across the world. Then there would be deep friendships developing. But now is the time. This is the time to embrace the shift that God has provided us.
So we've had a lot of excitement in our community, even youth that are playing, that this is giving them hope to help with climate change, helping with curing hunger in our community, working on some big greenhouse projects here. We've worked really hard on creating a new website that just went live as well, too, where you can learn all about the game.
Watch Peace on Earth happen in 1 decade.
So the game works at 2 levels, behaviorally and consciousness-wise.
What if enough people playing a game could tip the world into this reality? These 7 actions are designed as a global game that will take place between 2020 and 2030.
Each player within each action participates on their growing edge, no further than they can go. However, they have to stretch. They have to get out of their comfort zone.
Everyone on our team had these beautiful miracles happening every day. The personal experience of playing the game is deeply moving, but then there's this collective experience within your 5 to 8 people that you're playing with, where you can come back and just see, oh my goodness, 5 to 8 people can truly start to shift a huge area around us. I think just the 8 people on our team made a huge wave of peace. The game is about collaboration on the most beautiful levels. Love is at the core of this game.
I feel such a higher frequency.
At this critical time, when we are becoming more and more divided, this game serves as deep medicine to heal that which separates us.
Of course I want to play the game. Of course I want to be a part of that. Of course I want to.
The end game is that you get initiated as a Dreamkeeper when you've done all 7 actions.
Our team is all over the world. The game offers an opportunity for every single human to awaken to the understanding that we are all prophets.
That is so beautiful.
The kids get it. I really believe that our little town here is a prototype of what's possible for our world.
I'm really glad that I played the game.
The frequency was raised again. This is peace on earth. This is what we're here for. This is what we came here to experience.
If you feel the call to be a team leader, know that you can handle it and you will have the support of your team.
Your life is the game. You just show up in your life in this other way. You're befriending the people that you might have just passed by on the street. What if it was actually possible? Peace on earth is possible by 2030, if you're willing to believe it.
I hope you'll join.
I'll carry the torch. Will you?
That was really inspiring. Wow, incredible. Really touched my heart. And I had a question.
I have a question for you. May I ask? What about it touched your heart?
I think the testimonials of and the passion from the people playing the peace game. It was like a realization that it is possible. And also the kids and their feedback and then just like the pictures of different people from around the world.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's how it touched my heart in so many ways. So a question that I had from the video, what does it mean to be initiated as a dream keeper?
Well, each of the actions is designed to be played at 3 levels: bronze, silver, and gold. You get a bronze piece medal or a silver piece medal or a gold piece medal, depending on the action you take in each of the level that you take each of the actions at. So each action has higher degrees of effort based on time or whatever the task is that you invest, numbers of people you befriend, so on. So you have to have at least a bronze medal, at least the basic taking of each action, which is recorded in our app, our Peace Game app, so that we know you've actually taken it. And it's really important that you record it because that shows the drops filling the bucket. Part of how we tell the story to the world that peace on earth by 2030 is possible is we show literally the people that are doing it, and we count how many people did each thing. So when you've done all 7, you become a dream keeper. And then you get initiated at the very end in the last meeting, meeting 9, as a dream keeper. And you make 2 commitments. One, so first of all, to be initiated, you have to have done all 7 actions, and then you have to go through this commitment to be a dream keeper. One is that you commit to practicing these 7 actions that you've learned. And the second is that you commit to holding the intention with the other 40 million people that we are assembling that peace on earth by 2030 is possible, to build a field, to build that field of intention. So that's what it means.
That's wonderful. So, Miranda, how is the game structured to promote peace building on a global scale?
Well, as I mentioned before, everything works bottom up and second order change first. So people experiencing peace in their life with their families, with their coworkers, with their friends, and then helping transform their communities. That can then affect change at a top-down level, start to change what we tell our governments that we want, affecting policies, affecting legislation, affecting how we actually deal with if war is happening on the planet or not, and the large enough voice that we have to be able to make changes like that. And no one is excluded. We work with people in Africa and India and Afghanistan and in the United States and in South America and Central America. So and people of every age. So we encourage if someone that's a grandmother plays the game first online, then go get your grandkids, get your kids to play, get your community engaged next. And we do have a lot of beautiful grandmas actually working with it that are leading the charge on some of that with the Peace on Earth zones. So I find that to be a very beautiful thing as well. So it starts with each and every one of us everywhere all over the world, and someday connects in a much larger movement. And David talked a little bit about tipping points of consciousness, kind of like the hundredth monkey effect, and we see that all the time. So it'll go from not very much engagement to then suddenly tons of engagement and an entire shift in consciousness in an area, and then even shifting with governments and every group in the area wants to start partnering. In Africa, one of the examples, they had 30 people that ended up becoming dream keepers and playing, that went to their community and did a whole kind of cafe on how they create a Peace on Earth zone next. And they had 800 people want to join in the next time. So that's how fast it can grow.
Wow, that's incredible. David, did you want to talk about the concept of Peace on Earth zones within the game? How do these zones contribute to the overall mission?
So when enough people start to take the actions, you start to create new social norms. That is to say, people show up in a community in different ways. And the idea of scaling up the peace game is to start to create what I would call a new social infrastructure. So if you're in a community and you now have the competencies of cooperating for the common good, befriending the other, celebrating that which you share in common, these are the kinds of things that allow the soil of a community's, well, let's call it the fertility of the soil for being able to plant seeds of change. Because you can't change things unless you have this kind of capacity for change. Otherwise, you want to do things, but if the community isn't designed for being effective, then you struggle. So what the 7 actions do is it builds this new social infrastructure where these social norms are now part of how we show up in this community. And when you do that, then you can do things like Miranda achieved, which is you can cure hunger in Crestone in basically 2 years. And you can do amazing other things. And we've heard many, many stories like that. So Peace on Earth Zone really is designed to create this capacity for change on many levels. The peace game by itself has its aspiration to create peace on Earth, but it is also about building the capacity of communities to create the kinds of world we want to live in. So that's what a Peace on Earth Zone does. It's in short, it helps people learn how to cooperate for the common good across all the sectors.
That's amazing. So, Miranda, can you share some of the key milestones that the Peace Game has achieved so far?
Yeah, let me pull up.
You're going to get a very detailed report.
We're going to get a detailed analysis. Okay.
Well, on the page that we that I shared earlier, the link, there is one section that you can click on called Impact. And
Perfect.
We do talk about how many people have played, how many actions have been taken. And we have a game board as well that you can look at and see all of that. It's pretty incredible. In just a few years, how widespread this goes, basically.
I can help out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead, David.
Well, I mean, I state these statistics all the time, so it's time.
He's the better one.
That's fine.
So 21 countries are involved playing the peace game. 2,000 people have played the peace game. They've taken 26 actions on average per person, so 52,000 peace actions. And each of these peace actions ripples out, and ultimately almost 2 million people have been impacted by the peace game. We have close to 30 Peace on Earth zones in formation, some more along than others. We have partnerships with 60 plus organizations, including the African Union and Rotary and smaller and medium-sized peace organizations, including you guys. And wherever we go, there's peace on earth, which is ultimately the impact. And everyone who plays the game is an embodiment of peace on earth. Let me say one thing, as I know we have to sign off in a moment, which is the next peace game is taking place in 1 week. And if you would like to join us, you can go and register on our website. As you go to the top of the homepage, you'll see a way to register. Miranda, maybe you could also put in the chat how to register. And we'd love to have many of Humanity's team community to be part of it. We'd love to have Humanity's team have a number of peace teams. In fact, it'd be great if you registered and let us know you're from Humanity's team, so we could say, well, Humanity's team has now got 100 people from that community playing the peace game, and these are the impacts that it's had. So it'd be fun to do this collectively through your organization, but also as any other way that people want to do it. But we'd love to have any of you join us, go on this adventure.
Thank you so much, David. Well, Thank you, David and Miranda, for this incredible heart-opening conversation today. And also, we had the pleasure of interviewing Miranda at a Global Oneness Summit. She was a panelist back in 2020. We don't have time to show the clip today, but it is available on the Stream Plus platform. And we do have Global Oneness Day coming up next month. So that's incredible. So on Stream Plus, you'll get access to past Global Oneness Summits and also other incredible spiritual teachers and programs. So we're proud to say that Humanities Stream Plus is the largest global streaming platform for consciousness raising masterclasses in transformational education. So we're also a nonprofit and give back with our 1-for-1 program. I wanted to thank Steve Farrell, Dee Meyer, and the production team, Jim Gray, Garth Catterall, Andy Gutsky, Karen Weiser, Nanette Kennedy, and the rest of Humanities team. It's been such a pleasure connecting with you both today, and I look forward to participating at your Peace Day in Boulder, Miranda.
Awesome. It'll be so awesome to have you there.
Thank you.
Clarissa,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.
Thank you for the opportunity. Be well, everybody.